Hello everyone and welcome to Werven's World, and welcome to my video where I try to figure out how tourism and culture work and how they assure a cultural victory. Basically, if you want to do a cultural victory, you can go here to the world rankings and you can click here on this culture tab and you can kind of see what you have to do. Basically, you will grow a number of domestic tourists and you will attract visitors from other countries. So as you can see here, I have at the moment 3 tourists, 1 from Japan and 2 from Congo. That brings 3. I need to have more visiting tourists than that any other country has domestic tourists. As you can see, the highest amount of domestic tourists in other countries is 37. So that means that I need in total 38 visiting tourists. So that's 1 more than the highest. All the other countries need 52 because I have 51 domestic tourists and they need 1 more than the highest amount, which in this case would be 52. Now, it's nice that we now know that how we can win. Basically, we need more visiting tourists than that anyone ever has domestic tourists, which is great. However, it doesn't really tell us how we actually get to those goals. It's very not at all clear on the mechanics behind it. So I looked into the XML files again and I found some interesting tidbits that might help us finding out how exactly it works. Basically, it's again in the global parameters.xml and well, it says tourism culture per citizen value is 100. So that should mean that for every 100 culture we build up, we should get another domestic tourist. And that indeed seems to work. So as you can see here now, I get plus 53 culture per turn. So that should mean that in 2 turns, I should get another domestic tourist. So as you can see, it's now turn 179. So let me advance the turn 2 times. We have now 51 domestic tourists. Turn 180, we have now 52 actually. So, okay, now we have to do 2 more turns again, because I guess we were halfway. So let's do 2 more turns. Okay, we still have 52, 1 more turn. And now it's 182, and now we have 53 domestic tourists. So as you can see, indeed, for the culture that we accrue, for every 100 culture, we basically get another domestic tourist. So once you get your culture rolling, that actually goes really quite quickly. So how does it then work with the visiting tourists? Well, this is the part that I haven't been completely able to figure out yet. Basically, what we can see here is that at the moment I have 3 visiting tourists. 2 of those are from Congo, 1 of them is from Japan. If I look in the XML file, I can see this row called tourism to move citizen value is 150. That makes me think that I need 150 tourism in total to get another tourist. Just like as we build up culture to get more domestic tourists, we would build up tourism to get more tourists. However, I haven't been able to reproduce that at all because basically you can see here that I make 41 tourism per turn. And if we hover over here, we can see that basically that's what I get from Congo and from Japan, plus some bonuses and minuses. Basically, you can see here that I get overall tourism boosted for 25% for the trade route we have, and that's also in the XML file. You can see tourism trade route bonus is 25. Then at Japan, you can also see tourism reduced 50% for different religions, and you can indeed see also in the XML file, different religion reduction is 50. However, there's this other bonus, or malus I guess, is minus 18% for different governments. I can see in the XML conflicting government multiplier value is 3. So something is multiplied by 3 to get this, which of course then would be 6. But I'm not sure where that 6 comes from. But anyway, it also doesn't really matter. Basically, we give 41 tourism to Congo and Japan almost each. So it's not divided between the 2 countries. That's good to know already. However, now we need to figure out how does this tourism translate in actually tourists. And this is where it gets a little bit weird, because if you look at the XML file, you can see tourism to move citizen value is 150. That makes me think we would need 150 tourism in a country to get one of their tourists. However, it doesn't really seem to work like that, because I tried it by doing end turn and calculating how much tourism I should be getting per country, but that didn't overlap at all with the 150 value that you would expect. Also, if we hover over here, we can see that actually over all the turns that I've been playing, I have been accruing 2,778 tourism. So if you would actually need 150 tourism per tourist, then this wouldn't make sense at all. Then I would already have like, I don't know, what is it, like 18 tourists, but instead I only got 2. So there's something weird going on. Maybe it's somehow weighted by the culture that they produce, so that I have a certain amount of tourism and they have a certain amount of culture, and those two things are weighted with each other with how fast I will accrue tourists. But I'm not sure about that at all. So I really hope maybe one of you guys has seen anything that might point us into a direction on trying to solve this. But yeah, at least now we know a couple of things. Basically, we need 100 culture in order to build up a domestic tourist. And the more domestic tourists we have, the harder it gets for other countries to win with a culture victory, because they need more visiting tourists in total than that we have domestic tourists. One thing that I also haven't really figured out yet is if I attracted tourists now, let's say I would get 3 tourists from Congo, does that mean they have 1 less domestic tourist? So do they kind of have 27 tourists in total, or are these 2 separate pools basically? That would be something that would be nice to know as well. But yeah, I'll try to keep basically poking at this and maybe finding out some more stuff. But in the meantime, I hope this was useful. I hope it can kind of like stir up some discussion and that we then can kind of figure out how it all works. So with that, I hope you found it useful and see you next time.